Greetings to all of my loved ones. Welcome back to another episode of Healing Wisdom with me, your favorite spiritual advisor, Empress Oracle. I hope everybody's doing well today. It's Monday. I hope everybody has a great week, regardless of what the weather looks like. It's a beautiful day anywhere you are because you're alive. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody that checks out my videos. Okay, the healing wisdom that I give for you guys, not only is a lot of it channeled, but a lot of it comes from experience. I never speak on anything that I have not experienced myself. So it's not to cast judgment on anybody because I've been there. And unfortunately, when I was going through some of the hardest times in my life, I didn't have anybody to help me along the way. So if I can help anybody along their spiritual journey, then I know that I've done my job, even if it's just one person. Much gratitude to you for checking this out. And if my videos do help you, feel free to share them with anybody you know who may be experiencing spiritual warfare or on their path to their spiritual journey. So on behalf of Starseed Galactic Federation, I have been granted access to this knowledgeable information from my Akashic records for the purpose of helping humanity. This divine information has been given to me as a divine channel, and any use and or reproduction of this information without the proper accreditation from where it was received will result in instant karma for the plagiarizing parties and or individuals. And so it is. So I'm sure you read the title, so let's go on ahead. See, I found my little wand pen, y'all. Anywho, let's go ahead and get into it. So today I would like to talk to you guys about obesity and spirituality. A lot of people don't really realize that the two are connected. However, your psyche, your inner psyche, however your soul, your spirit is, that is going to affect your outward appearance. That's why a lot of times our weight fluctuates. As human beings having the human experience, you know, life is like a roller coaster, but your weight is also like a roller coaster as well. And by now, I'm pretty sure a lot of us have realized that whenever we are emotionally distraught or whenever we're going through the most testing, trials, and tribulations, whether they're emotionally, physically, mentally, financially, whatever, that's when we have a tendency to pick up weight more or to gain weight more. And there's a reason behind that. Okay? We are made up of energy, and the body instinctively knows when you are either in an unhealthy environment, whether, as I said before, is physically, mentally, emotionally, or when you're under spiritual attack. Like for myself, I'll tell you for myself, I was a very chunky child. During my younger years, I was very chunky. I was also very depressed as a child growing up, and it showed in a lot of my pictures. And that was because, you know, I used to be under a lot of emotional stress, mental stress. You know, I had factors in my life that caused me to eat my feelings and everything, and it showed in my appearance. And also, too, tied with that, you know, I suffered from depression a lot as a child too, and that is emotional stress and trauma as well. So, you know, a lot of times you tend to find comfort in food and everything. So it's very important for you to understand that it's not just because you see the food, you want the food, or it tastes good, while a lot of people tend to overeat. A lot of times they use it as a band-aid to soothe their feelings, especially when they have a hard time communicating. The harder, what I have found from my personal experience, the harder it is for you to communicate, the more you will suppress and overeat, okay? Because you're basically eating those feelings. A lot of people turn to food for comfort, but also excessive weight gain or obesity is also, as I said, a subconscious protection method that is triggered when you are in an unstable environment. That's why also, too, you tend to see a lot of people who come from large families and they like to blame it on genetics, why the whole family is obese and everything. But really, if you were really to dig deeper into the family dynamics, you would find that that family was probably raised with a lot of trauma in the family, whether they have an abusive parent or they grew up in a toxic household where they have toxic beliefs, okay, whether they have negative generational curses or patterns that go on. And all it really does is it trickles from down from generation to generation. And because a lot of times these families do not know how to heal, instead they're caught up in the toxic cycles, the toxicity is normal to them. Instead of healing, they find an outlet in the food. They eat their emotions and stuff. And because they might not know how to heal or how to soothe themselves or their children, they do what was taught to them. So they use food in order to placate that person instead of actually going in and seeing what's wrong and healing it or breaking those generational curses. It's sad, but it's true. It really happens a lot. It acts as a cushion for trauma, depression, triggers, and is, in a sense, the higher self's way of protecting an already fragile soul or spirit from any outside trauma. And I definitely can say that because, as I said, when I was younger, I was very chunky, but I was very pretty. Had a whole bunch of hair, pretty eyes, and I used to receive a lot of unwanted attention, should I say, from different areas, whether it be girls trying to be my friends, but then turning on me, whether it would be family, whether it was, dealing with molestation growing up, a whole bunch of different factors. But basically, what I feel is that my higher self knew that I needed that protection. So therefore, you end up, eating, and that layer physically, you have more padding. So that's kind of like a little bit more of a protection for your spirit, your psyche, even though it might not be positive, because the things that you may be putting into your body, they have ill effects on your health long term. However, where was I, y'all? The downside to this is that excessive weight gain or obesity comes with adverse health effects, just like I said, because the true antidote is internal and external healing. And that is something that I had to figure out. I figured that out at a fairly young age. I'm going to say middle school, between like 5th to 7th grade is when I started realizing that I was really eating my feelings and my emotions and stuff. And I decided to work on myself from the inside out. Now we have to remember that healing is something that is constant in life. Constant. Your healing journey is never going to be done. You can face a trigger. You can sit there and you can try to figure out what the source is, what truly is causing you to overeat. And once you go deep, as in, okay, on the first level, you might be like, okay, I'll overeat just because, the food is good. And I like food. I love food. But then once you go even deeper to the next level, you might be like, well, I'll overeat because anytime I eat this, even just for that fleeting moment, it makes me feel good, especially when I'm sad. I know that once I have those flavors, it's going to trigger the endorphins in my brain and I'm going to be happy again, right? So sometimes people do that. However, y'all, I just realized I didn't do my edges. Excuse me. But anyway, yeah. And then once you go deeper than that, to figure out what it is, you can say, okay, every time this person comes around me, they always make me feel insecure. They're always taunting me. They're always picking on me, teasing me, and they make me feel bad. And they always say things like it's a joke, and everybody around them is laughing, hee hee ha ha. So when I try to say it's not funny, this is for somebody. When I'm trying to say that it's not funny, everybody tells me that I'm being too sensitive and everything, and nobody wants to listen. So I just eat my feelings. That makes me feel comfort. The food doesn't make fun of me. The food makes me feel good. The food doesn't tell me to be quiet. The food makes me feel good. There's levels to why people do these things, why they eat. But the real thing is, most people who have a tendency to be obese or carry more weight than is healthy for their frame, they do it because of inner turmoil and inner pain that they're trying to soothe with the food. Whether they choose to admit it at first or not, it is an emotional band-aid that they're trying to put on their soul, and they're trying to placate themselves with this food. But at the end of the day, once they're done eating, once they're done binging, okay, because in order to be obese, you have to really put in some work and dedication. So 9 times out of 10, you're binge eating. But once they're done binging, they feel like shit all over again. And then the cycle just go ahead and continues and repeats. And although it's soothing you in the beginning, you end up feeling even less about yourself. You end up feeling less worthy, more insecure, because you feel as though you have no self-control at the end of the day once you realize all the damage you did with all the food that you ate. You end up feeling like a bad person. So it's not worth it, guys. The thing is, you have to, once you become aware of the things that trigger you to overeat, that right there is telling you, okay, something is not right within my soul. So then that's the time when you need to go within and figure out what it is that is triggering you to go on these wild binges of eating, or these binges of over consuming things that you know that are not good for you. Because also at the same time, what people don't realize is obesity and overeating, they're tied into spiritual attacks and emotional warfare, X, Y, and Z. But at the same time, what you're also doing is lowering your vibration. It makes it harder for you to do the work. It makes it harder for you to go within. It makes it harder for you to identify your triggers and stuff, because you're basically just putting blocks and blocks and blocks of low vibrational things into your body. And how you can tell it's low vibrational is because it puts weight on you. Okay? It decreases your quality of health, your quality of life, your mobility, everything. That's how you know something is not good for you. Okay? You can eat a lot of certain things and not gain weight, but you know the things that are going to lead you down the path to obesity. And anything done in excess is not good for you. You heard that, Fridge? That's confirmation. That's something I have to tell myself a lot of times too, because a lot of people, we have a tendency to be emotional eaters. What I started doing for myself is when I realized that I'm in my fifis, all right, and I'm not realizing it, and I'm just soothing myself with chips or soda, shit that I don't normally eat. I say, okay, hey, I don't keep going down that path. I catch myself and I'll be like, all right, this is enough. Let me back. Let me figure out what it is that got me in my feelings. Why 3 o'clock in the morning I'm eating these chips? Because sometimes you just have to be real with yourself. But it's very hard for a lot of people to do that. A lot of people are afraid to face their inner demons. A lot of people are afraid to really do the inner work that it takes in order to raise their vibration, increase their health and mobility, fight off these spiritual attacks, the spiritual warfare, and break the patterns and the cycle of the abuse that's causing them to eat themselves into their graves. And it's something that we need to do. It's for the best of everybody. So whether you realize it or not, obesity and spirituality, they are very much so linked, okay? What's on the outside should be a reflection of what's on the inside. And more times than we care to admit, what's on the outside is truly a reflection of what's on the inside if you pay close attention. I'm not talking about the designer clothes. I'm not talking about the jewelry, the haircuts. I'm talking about the state of your physical health, the state of your emotional health, the state of your mental health. All of those things tie in together. And all those things are very, very common factors that aid in obesity. And sometimes we have to find the way to figure out how to do the healing for ourselves. It's not easy, especially when it comes to weight loss. Weight loss to me is just like your spiritual journey, because even with your spiritual journey, sometimes you fall off, sometimes you go astray. It's the same thing with losing weight or maintaining a healthy weight, a healthy lifestyle. However, it is okay. Nothing is perfect. Perfection is an illusion that's cast out there to limit people and their own personal beliefs of themselves. If you put your mind to it, just keep this one step day by day and you will get there. But you have to, first of all, you have to go within. You have to heal your heart. You have to heal those triggers that are triggering you to do negative things and overindulge in things that are bad for your health. You have to do that inner work no matter how many times it takes. No matter how many times it takes, you have to keep going. Because once you break out of that physical jail that you have put yourself in, okay, that's what I'm calling obesity, overeating. That's a physical prison that you're putting yourself in because you're not wanting to deal with your emotions. But once you free yourself, you truly realize that the world is your oyster. And I really hope that this message helps somebody out there, because I know how it is to struggle with spirituality. I know how it is to struggle with your weight. I know how it is to struggle with your emotions, with everything. It's perfectly normal. And you're not better or worse than anybody if you are not as consistent as you would like to be. Just keep going. Just keep going. Listen to your body. Notice when you have these negative cravings and stop feeding the flesh. Okay? Where the spirit is willing, the flesh is weak. Is that the saying? Somebody correct me if I said it wrong. Okay? But you have to feed your flesh healthy things to raise your vibration so that you're better able to fight off triggers and emotional, physical, mental, spiritual attacks. And then you need to pass those down to your children as well. So I hope this message helped everybody. Thank you again for watching. Also, please be sure to check me out on Etsy, my spiritual shop, where there I have body butters that can aid you along your journey. I have butters for money, to attract love, and also to protect your energy and your aura, because that is a big part of staying protected and being healthy. I also have crystals there for men, women, children. I can make something for your dog if you need it. I also do custom orders. So on Etsy, that is Empress Oracle Shop, and on Instagram, that is Empress Oracle Shop. Be blessed. I hope this message reaches you guys with love, as is my intention. Have a great day.